like when I get into something, I get into it fucking full bore.
Me too.
So like when I started reading the Krishna books by Prabhupada, I was like, I gotta live this, man. And I went and lived as a celibate monk for 2 years, a year in Hawaii and a year in New York. And I was like, and I'll tell you something right now. Those 2 years, and I've been on stage in front of fucking 30, 40,000 motherfuckers. They did all kinds of crazy shit in my life. Those were the most peaceful 2 years of my life. I was in Vaikuntha, means free from anxiety. And that's what spiritual practice is. You don't even fear death.
Yeah, you reset your dopamine completely.
What did Prabhupada say? A bhakti yogi steps on the head of death. Like, you don't fear anything because you're living in the right place, and you're living to help other people, and you're doing all this positive work in the world, you know? Right. So, you know, but yeah, before a race, absolutely, man, 2 weeks, whatever.
Yeah, you said something in your book too. It was like talking about how, like, or maybe it was an interview I was listening to where you said something about like, yeah, you're gonna seek pleasure on some level regardless. I'm gonna word this wrong. So, but you could either seek it like through materialism or spiritualism. And I think of like brahmachari or whatever, however you say it, or semen retention in that way. You like, you don't give yourself these huge dopamine spikes, then suddenly just like sitting and enjoying a breeze becomes like very pleasurable.
Yeah. Well, you know, the nature of the soul is to enjoy.
Yeah.
Prakriti. We're meant to be enjoyers. So you can't artificially renounce enjoyment. It's not possible. But how do you replace that taste for enjoyment with a higher taste?
Yeah.
That's what Prabhupada always talked about. How do you stay high forever? Drugs are temporary. I don't give a fuck if it's ayahuasca, whatever the fuck you're doing.
Agree.
Mushrooms, this, that.
Ibogaine.
Yeah.
That one lasts for 3 days, but yeah, it's not forever.
I mean, you know, it doesn't last. It's a temporary high.
Yeah. Same with sex, I guess.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
You know, how do you stay high forever? How do you enjoy permanently? And that's the key that we should be, and that happens you know, on a subtle level, not the gross material platform.
Yeah.
That happens internally, spiritually.
But the
those
subtle
pleasures are there. Otherwise, a monk could never give up everything you know, that I left because I started seeing the bullshit that was going on.
Right.
People were getting fucking murdered. Kids got molested.
Yeah.
Money was getting ripped off. Drugs were being sold out of temples. Women raped, like crazy shit. Yeah. And I've gone on a fucking warpath against them ever since. But the other thing was against ISKCON and the bogus leaders that stole the movement from Prabhupada, basically, and did everything.
Is there a genuine movement left?
There is. There's a collective group of devotees who are constantly you know, speaking out against what's going on. And the funny thing is, it's just like the government calling us conspiracy theories, because the Krishna leaders got it locked up. They say, if you find fault, that's called Vaishnav Aparad. You're making a great offense against a Vaishnav. And my rebuttal is, motherfucker, you ain't acting like no Vaishnav, so it's not a Vaishnav offense.
Well,
you're fucking stealing money. Mm-hmm. You got Joe Schmo over here that touched kids and raped kids the entire time he was the leader of the Hare Krishna school, and you still let this motherfucking pedophile come around? See, that was the whole thing that got me. Because when that shit hit home, when I found out what they was doing to the kids, that's when I was like, it's on for life, motherfuckers. Get ready.
Yeah.
I'm going to fight you till I take my last motherfucking breath. And I have. Mm-hmm. And this is over fucking 30 years now. Monkey on a Stick, all these books, you know, that have come out. And, you know, they poisoned Prabhupada. They did all this stuff to get Prabhupada out of the way. That's how evil and envious these people were. And Prabhupada never asked for anything. Prabhupada always said, how can I serve you? Mm-hmm. How can I serve? These people don't think like that.
Yeah.
This guy that runs the Bhakti Center over here,
Well, it's the same with the yoga gurus.
They're all fucking
everywhere
scammers,
else.
man. They're scammers. Let me tell you something. Wild Wild Country, what they did, the Krishnas, makes that shit looks like a fucking Boy Scout outing.
That's true.
And at some point, I'm gonna fucking try to do a documentary about what the fuck I know and what I saw, and get the footage and all of that stuff. But you know, that's another topic. But to
It's
me,
weird
I had a
'cause-
calling
yeah.
to music, back
Yeah.
to music, and I left the temple, and I moved out of the temple into a fucking burnt out building with nothing. Rats taking showers at the fire hydrant in wintertime. I didn't steal money when I left.
The original Wim Hof. Showers.
He
in
was
the
doing
fire.
that shit before me, I think.
Yeah.
But you know, and the thing was, I wanted to play music, and I knew how important you know, like I said, in the foster home, it was music always. Even as far back as I can remember, in the 60s, my mother was dodging my father, who was beating the shit out of her, breaking in, doing crazy shit. My mom's would put on Motown 45s, and we would dance around. And like I would act like I was a Motown singer, like singing into broom handles, and I forgot all the pain and suffering that was happening to us as a family. Even in the foster home, my mother, we got this little transistor black radio, and the craziest fucked up shit was happening to me, and I'd be under the blankets with my fucking earpiece in, like listening to fucking, you know, Bill Withers and fucking all this other music. And it was like, music's always been, when I wasn't involved in music is when I got in the most trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when I was a monk, and I remember the first trigger, because I was in Hawaii, and this couple came, and they were walking down Kalakaua Avenue, and they had a Bad Brain shirt on. This was 82, 83. And I was like, yo, I used to work for them. You know, they're like, wow. And that seed was planted with the music again. See, a seed gets planted even in devotion, and then you water it. So if you water it properly, it grows into a creeper, a plant that flourishes with fruits and whatever. But if you poison it through activity, it dies. So that seed with the music was planted, and I was like, and it took a whole another like almost year for that to manifest. And seeing my old friends at the park, when I would go down to feed the homeless at Tompkins Square Park, we fed KRS-One in the shelters and shit. But we would go down there, and then I would see all the punk rockers, and there'd be like, and Harley was coming up to me going, yo, man, leave the temple. I got the band back together. Because Cro-Mags formed in 81, and he was a dick to everybody, and everybody quit. So then he got the band back. He's like, yo, leave the temple. We need you. I got the band. So that seed was like there, and then it started getting watered, and I was like, music. I was, you know, after my chanting at night, I was putting on Bad Brains records, and, you know, listening to that shit. And then when I started finding out all this stuff, that's when I just jetted. Like,
It's weird how religion, like, it has these based on all these high ideals, and then it draws in the most fucked up behavior.
well, what does
as
it
well.
say
It's like
in the Kali Yuga?
The polarities.
Like I said, I came up with the name Age of Quarrel for the Cro-Mags' first record because it was based on the teachings of the Vedas. Kali Yuga, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Where in this age, people take irreligion to be religion, and the real spirituality, the religion, the real process to be irreligion. So now you have, look at all these motherfuckers on TV and all these they're the biggest fucking hoaxsters going.
Yeah.
Televangelists.
And all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. 99.9% Hare Krishna leaders, the fucking guys running the Nation of Islam, they all got busted. What's his name there? Elijah Muhammad. You saw Malcolm X, what he was doing. He had everybody fooled.
The Catholic
He was
Church.
sleeping with the fucking women and sending them off to be isolated. And just every religious system, they're just scammers. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. And they take, and the most disgusting part of it, and I say this in my book, is that they took advantage of people that were at the end of their rope in life, that were looking for something. A lot of people committed fucking suicide and slipped into drugs after all that shit went down in the Hare Krishnas in the 80s and 70s, and they put so much faith into these guys, and then they found out they were fucking molesting children and ordering people to be fucking murdered and all this other shit. So it's like, they're the worst. They're the worst. When you take advantage of somebody who's at their low point in their life and looking for a way out of it, and you exploit them, and you fucking take everything from them, you're the fucking worst parasite on the fucking planet.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever you get, you fucking deserve.
Yeah, power corrupts.
Prabhupada said anyone who touches a child should be hung.
Yeah.
And that, I fucking agree. And they raped all the kids in the Hare Krishna schools.
Yeah. So is there any like good leaders in that organization now, or is it just
Well,
done?
any leader that says they're not a guru, any leader who says Prabhupada's the teacher, do what Prabhupada says, that's who a real devotee is.
Yeah.
You know? And Prabhupada said, and this is Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, one who says he's my devotee is not my devotee. One who says he's the devotee of my devotee is my devotee. You understand that? Prabhupada said, serve the people that serve the movement.
Mm.
And
I see.
there are very good people. 99.9% of those Krishna people are good people. They're just manipulated. The same way out in society, the ones who are telling us that we're conspiracy theories, they're good people.
Mm-hmm.
They just drank the Kool-Aid.